third gear right now. We're going 60 in third gear, and it's cruising, but...
All right, guys, we are in the last couple days of RM27, and pretty soon one of you is going to be taking home this supercharged 1968 Camaro, along with $20,000 in cash.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Before this thing leaves our garage, we want to run through our 5 favorite things about this badass car. We're going to start with number 5, which is just how it looks, the beautiful exterior of this car.
And even just starting with the exterior. You know, the body and paint is extremely nice on this car. It's black. The paint job is almost perfect, which is, it's hard to even say a paint job is perfect. This one's pretty close. So it started out as a really cool car. Black with the white stripes is iconic. This is what you think of when you think 68 Camaro SS.
It just looks amazing. Like you said, the paint is show quality. It's a real SS, and every little thing on this car has been tended to, both by Mr. White, and then once we got it in our hands, we made a couple changes as well.
Yeah, so every little detail, like you said, a big question we get asked about is lighting as well. The headlights are all LED upgraded. The headlight doors are Detroit Speed Engineering electronic headlight operated doors. The rear tail lights are LED as well, so those are digital LED tail lights. Even the wipers have been upgraded with a Newport Engineering wiper motor. So tons of the little functionality stuff on the car has been upgraded already to make everything kind of more modern. You get rid of some of the finicky original type parts, and then you get better lighting, better electronic. So a lot of modern technology has been integrated, but in a way where you don't notice it at first. When you look at this Camaro, it's a Camaro. It doesn't look like anything else. It is what you want if you're looking for a 68 Camaro. So.
And now on to the things that actually touch the road, the beautiful wheel tire setup on this thing. And then I know we upgraded the wheels. What did we go with?
So these are Bose forged 3-piece wheels, 18s in the front, 19s in the back. And we have Continental Extreme Contact tires on them. Let's see what these tire sizes are, because it's kind of a big and little staggered setup, which is kind of common. You want to get as big of a tire on the back as you can. So the fronts are 255/35, and we had to put new rear tires. This kind of power level, rear tires are probably not going to last you too long. These are 295/35s in the back. And the way that was able to be fit all in there is the car is mini tubbed as well. It was that way when we got it. He went through all the effort to make sure you get a big tire back there. So
yeah, got to have the mini tubs to fit those meats back there, and that's all to put that power to the ground.
Correct, yeah.
And of course, number 3, which is the thing that you'll see the most when you're behind the wheel of this beast, and that is the interior. Most of the interior in this car is fully brand new and customized. It's absolutely incredible, and it really lends itself to a really modern driving experience in a 1968 Camaro. Let's go for a ride.
We did a little bit of work on the ergonomics on this car to fit different size drivers. These first-gen Camaros, the way they're laid out, there's not a ton of room in them. And then you get these TMI seats with the added bolstering, which really helps like lateral bolstering, but then they're a little puffier, so they sit you up a little higher and a little closer. They have sliders, and that's adjustable, so that really helps a lot. We have guys in our shop that are 6'5", 6'6", and they've been able to fit in this car, which is quite the task for a car like this. This is not a huge car, but we did some work on some other stuff, like this aftermarket TMI dash pad sticks out a lot closer to the steering wheel than the stock one. So we kind of worked on the tilt column with the steering wheel spacing to get the wheel away from the pad so your knuckles aren't hitting it. We kind of changed the shifter handle to put it in a little bit better position so that the ergonomics work. On a stick shift car, it's important. A car with a lot of power, it's really important that you feel comfortable where everything's at, because things happen fast in a car like this. There's no nannies, there's no safety things to keep you out of trouble. So if you're driving this thing hard or you're throwing it in a turn and everything has to be like in a good spot so that you're not fumbling around trying to manage this thing.
It's absolutely customized on the inside. It's all TMI interior with this beautiful leather and Alcantara, but still the touches of the houndstooth, so it's still kind of a throwback to those Gen 1 Camaros and kind of those signature touches that you're talking about. But everything that you touch as a driver and a user of this car, it's all billet, customized parts, and just contributes to a beautiful drivability in this car. It's comfortable, it's fast as all get out. everything you'd want in a modern RestoMod.
The key points in the interior, but sitting in here, there's a ton to talk about. So I'll just kind of go through it because everywhere you look, something's been upgraded or modernized, but it still looks like a 68 Camaro in here. So there's a ton of features that are familiar. The whole layout of the dash is 68 Camaro, but the gauges have been upgraded. They're all Dakota Digital, and even the little really Camaro specific console gauges. So you have volts, temp, fuel, and oil pressure all in the console, and it kind of cleans up the two gauges here for speedo and tack, so that you can monitor those when you're doing some good performance driving. The seats I'm sitting in, so these are TMI buckets, but they have basically every option that you can get from TMI. So it's like suede plus leather inserts, and then the houndstooth, which I really like, the black and white houndstooth. It's a very Camaro specific thing, and in a black and white car it just looks amazing. They tied that in with the dash piece. This is a TMI piece. The door panels and the rear panels are TMI. All the stitching and leather is matched to the seats. Same thing with the console, custom built console, but the stitching is matched to the rest of the upholstery. And that houses a nice billet trim ring for the shifter boot, which is also matched. A Hearst shifter ball, which is very iconic for a 60s muscle car, is seeing that white 6-speed shift knob. We upgraded to a Grant steering wheel. It had a billet steering wheel in there before. It was really hard to keep it polished and clean, so we went with the black steering wheel with matching stitching and a red Chevy emblem. Tilt column with kind of a spacer to improve the ergonomics so that you're not hitting the dash when you're turning. And it's got a custom billet column mount. The pedals are all brand new. It's got a drive-by-wire pedal from the GM computer. Parking brake is still in the same spot, but you have speakers in the kick panel now. And this carpet is really, really nice. It's a German square weave carpet, all custom built with custom stitched floor mats to fit perfectly in there. This is not just a molded carpet, really high end. And it's got some upgrades for convenience too. So you have 2 cup holders, you got a USB charging station, and a little cubby to put some of your paperwork or whatever you need to in there. The headliner is brand new, but original. Same thing, dome lights, kind of original style, but with an LED bulb in it. And the same thing continues in the back. It's a matched rear seat, TMI panels in the rear. Everything is brand new as far as all the trim, the moldings, the clips. So this car is really nice, really, really nice as far as everything that you interface with feels high end, and it's comfortable. You sit in here and it feels not like a huge car. You feel a little bit more sporty when you're driving this car. So I really like the cockpit feel of it, and all the stuff is really, everywhere you look, it's just upgraded, improved. There's billet stuff, there's brand new restored pieces in here, and a lot of custom touches everywhere. So it's a great car to be behind the wheel of.
Number 2, what really makes this a Restomod is the undercarriage and the suspension work that has been done with this thing. It literally is a brand new car that looks like a 1968 Camaro. As far as suspension on this thing goes, he's got an Art Morrison subframe on this.
Yeah, so that was one of the big things when you were looking at this car to purchase a potential sweepstakes car. We want a well-rounded vehicle. It's not just a big engine and nothing else around it. So when you started showing me this car and we started talking about it, that really stood out to me. The Art Morrison subframe is a really good upgrade. It changes the whole dynamics of the car, and that's because it uses a lot of Corvette suspension parts. So it bolts on a lot of the upgraded factory geometry. These GM engineers put so much time and effort into figuring out how to make a Corvette handle, and it's arguably, you know, one of the best handling sports cars out there. So to be able to bolt that technology and all that R&D into a classic chassis to basically update the handling to the same level that the engine is really nice. So I was really impressed to see an Art Morrison. It's not a cheap piece.
Yeah.
This is not a budget build. This is basically best of the best type stuff. The Art Morrison subframe is definitely that, and it uses taller spindles for improved geometry. Bolted to those is big Wilwood disc brakes, 6 pistons in the front, 4 pistons in the back. The suspension stuff doesn't stop there either. This thing has subframe connectors to stiffen up the unibody chassis, and the rear end, no more leaf springs. So it's coilovers in the rear and the front now. Strange engineering coilovers in the front, Ride Tech adjustable coilovers in the back, and a Ride Tech triangulated 4-link in the back. So there's a ton of adjustability and suspension tuning. If you do get this car and you really want to start taking it out on like performance track days and stuff like that, there's a ton of adjustability to play with. For the street right now, with the setup it has, it's plenty capable. I mean, you need to be a really good driver to be able to use the potential of this car, so.
And the #1 favorite thing about this car is, of course, the power plant. This is the unbelievable LT4 Supercharged V8 that powers the new Corvette, the new Camaro, and the new Cadillac CT5V Blackwing series. It is absolutely incredible. Let's get into it.
And I can tell you this car is extremely fast. He kept upping the ante with the engine combo until we got to what I would say in today's era is the best engine combo we've had. It's an LT4. So we've had modern cars.
Super light car, which is incredible. And you can kind of like, because it is, and I don't want to misspeak here, but I think it's a Gen 5 GM crate, which is the LT4 variable valve timing, which lets you kind of drive it like a normal car.
Correct.
And then when you want to get crazy, it's all right there.
It's a big advantage in the drivability factor that the cam timing isn't super aggressive at idle. So when you are, you know, just driving the car around on the street, the idle isn't that aggressive because of the cam timing, but you feel it when the cam timing changes on this car and the boost starts happening. This thing pulls like a freight train, and that's what I expected. I mean, we've driven ZL1s and CT5 Blackwings, all the best modern performance GM cars, Corvettes, they all come with this engine, and it's for a reason. And when it gets put into something this lightweight, with none of the nannies, none of the traction control, none of the things to really keep you out of trouble.
To keep you safe.
Yeah, so,
you are the computer.
So yeah, so it's easy to get into trouble in a fun way. You know, whether that be breaking the speed limit or on a closed course, just enjoying the car.
Disclaimer, we do not endorse breaking the speed limit.
We do not.
So let's get into it, man. What's under the hood of this thing?
Yeah, let's pop the hood. This is where this car shines, and woo, it looks incredible under here. So the LT4 is a crate engine. So most of what you see is direct from GM. It's running their power management system as far as the computer. It has their exhaust manifolds, their accessory drive. So it's got a lot of the factory reliability built into it. It is a direct injected engine. So it has a high pressure pump. And then the fuel system is like basically GM, it's a fuel pump management system with pulse width modulation. So this thing is very, very modern. It's a technologically advanced engine. And that's why it makes smooth, reliable power. It feels really fast. I mean, this engine in a heavier car feels fast. With a stick shift, it's a pretty wild ride in this car.
It's got a 6-speed?
6-speed, yeah. So this is a Tremec 6-speed, and it has a center force clutch to handle all that power, hydraulic throwout bearing, and it's connected to the rear to a Curry 12 bolt. So the rest of the drivetrain is very stout to handle this power level. And it's a lot of fun. The 6-speed behind this engine is just a hoot to drive. It's a blast. I mean, once you get up to speed, you're rowing those gears, you know, this thing makes torque at like the entire RPM range. So it never feels like you're in the wrong gear or anything. In third gear right now, we're going 60 in third gear, and it's cruising, but that's about as long as you can get in it when there's other cars around you on a public road.
All right, so those are our 5 favorite things about our M27, this supercharged 1968 Camaro. Feel free to tell us your favorite things down below in the comments. But let's keep in mind that our M25 winner took his car home, drove it home along with his dad. We just shipped our M26 to Michelle out in Iowa. What are you gonna do when you take home this classic? Make sure you have those entries at RestoMods.com, and it could be you driving this thing home.